Hello and welcome to another LOTRO video featuring me, Balfelium. Today is the 5th of February and BULLROARER has just gone live with the second patch for the update 10 release, and the new armour sets have been added, so I thought I'd show everyone who's interested a look at those. So we're in the Isengard Tavern at the moment, where everyone else has pretty much had the same idea. But somewhere under here,
How may I help you?
there is an armour trader. So again, he's got a massively long list of armour, but near the bottom you should have Erebor bits and pieces for your various classes. Again, it's broken down into light, medium and heavy armour people, so you need to speak to the right NPC. I haven't actually looked at the blue sets yet. I'm curious. I have actually got the skill set bonuses. That'd be quite interesting. But first things first, as expected, they are deed gated, and it's 2 pieces of armour per instance. So I'm not sure if this is the same per class, so it's always a case of the helm comes from this one, the shoulder comes from that one. But if I just put these tooltips on the screen, which actually kind of the wrong way round because the leftmost instance is the third one. But what was it? That one, wasn't it? Names and stats and everything is subject to change, so I'm not too worried about showing off the stats, and don't worry if they seem a bit underpowered or anything like that, because they almost certainly will change. But yep, there's 2 for each one. You just need to complete the instance on tier 1 to be able to barter it, and each piece will cost seals, meds and marks of various amounts. Again, there's also going to be sets per trait line as well, just like the hitbold stuff. So we've got 3 sets there for the burglar ones. There's also a greater set which I didn't notice just before I started the video. So they do have slightly improved stats over... It's the same stats but bigger numbers basically. But what are these? Star Blossom and Moon Candle. So it's some sort of new super rare barter item. There's Wormfire as well. Now I don't know for certain, but I'd hazard a guess that each of those... Oh god. Let's close some of those tooltips. No, we don't need those. There seems to be quite a few of these, and I'd guess they're unique to certain raids. They're all some sort of gems that come from the mines of Erebor, though, apparently. In Candle, Star Blossom, we got all these. It looks like it's just those 4. So what you need to do is get your tier 1, the lower armour, and then barter it using these to upgrade them and make them more powerful. But again, there's still 3 sets of those, and we'll have to wait until we know where these 4 gems come from. But I do have some set bonuses on these. Again, these are probably subject to change. So for curiosity, let's just have a look at the 3 burglar helms. So offhand damage, and on crit applies a temporary crit rating buff to your fellowship. That's an interesting one. Mischief Maker 1 has riddle affects 2 targets. That's a bit of a classic one. And on hit, chance to reduce the active cooldown of all trick removals by 5 seconds. That's interesting. Probably a bit more useful on the Gambler set though, I would have said myself. And the Gambler one is Clever Retort performs a damaging and restoring effect, which is currently on one of the hitbold pieces. And on hit, chance to refresh the duration of an active damaging or debuffing gamble, which is interesting. But one of the changes in build 2 is that all armour sets, both new and existing ones, are being changed so that any skill modifying bonuses will be on the 2-piece and the 4-piece bonuses, just to kind of standardise stuff and give you more skill options, because say if you've got a skill modifying bonus of the 5-piece, that pretty much limits what gear you can use. So you should be able to get some more interesting builds out of those. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they change some of the older ones though and rebalance those. It might just be a case of swap the stat bonus on the 4-piece from the 5-piece to the 4-piece and move the stats from the 4 to the 5. I don't know, I haven't really looked into that yet. But cosmetic wise is probably what you're wondering next. And I assume these are going to be the same cosmetic as the lower set. It does look like it. Now the burglar one I'm not too amused with. I mean, tunic wise it might be right if it died properly, but if this dies just like the normal set does, yeah. The tunic itself doesn't die, you just dye the sleeves and you dye those bits of the legs. So it's a bit underwhelming really. The boots aren't dying at all. Again, this might be subject to change. Not necessarily the whole cosmetic, but how it dies. Because some bits aren't dying at all, some bits on some of the sets don't really die remotely anywhere near the colours that they're supposed to, and the helm isn't changing at all. So yeah, the burglar one, not too keen on. But let's have a look at the hunter one. See what the hunter cosmetic looks like. Oh, it's a bit Robin Hood-ish, isn't it? Yeah, that one's a bit better. But we've still got our black dyes on. It's an interesting hat. A bit of antler-inspired shoulders. Let's see. Let's dye this Rivendell green for a hunterish colour. Let's see how these dye. So it dyes quite dark at the moment. But some bits will still stay red and gold. But certainly it looks a bit better, this one. And it certainly dyes a bit better. But there certainly seems to be a bit more of a kind of a woodsman kind of theme to the armour set so far. So yeah, but I think I could learn to like that one. Warden armour next. What do we got? What the hell is this? What? Looks like some sort of futuristic battle armour. Just being merged onto a tunic. Yeah, I think that one doesn't quite look right yet. I suspect, well, I'd hope that tunic isn't the final look, because it looks completely different to the rest of the set. There also seems to be no... Oh, there's some dyeing. We can dye the belts. But there's some shin pads, it's not full boots and that around the legs. It's interesting, but I don't know, it doesn't look very Wardenish to me. Let's have a look at one of the other armour traders now. Let's go to the light armour. For some reason it looks like an Easterling, but it sounds like a Breeman. Greater Lawmaster armour. Right. Don't know, it looks a bit Easterling-ish, this one. Again, the colours look a bit weird. Where should we go? Purple? Strange hat as well there. But yeah, it seems a bit more Easterling inspired, this one, but I'm not too keen on that. But luckily my Lawmaster doesn't get played too much, so I don't have to worry about that one. Minstrel. And there's an annoying person buffing in the background, making loads of noise. Well, this is interesting. That's a tight fitting on my ass there. But there seems to be some sort of lighting issue on the shoulders there. Yes, this is a very tight fitting armour set. How should we dye this one? Everton blue? That's the wrong one. Yeah, apart from the fact that one's a bit tight looking, I don't think that's too bad. I mean, the shoulders obviously need looking at, and the hat isn't dyeing at all, but if the hat dyed pretty much the same as the dye colour, that could be alright. At the minute, the model for the shoulders, I'm not sure if you guys can just about see it, but it seems quite bulky and sticking out from the rest of the armour. But moving on, Runekeeper. Ooh, I like this one. Don't like the hat. The hat is silly, but it's kind of leathery, runey, kind of dwarvish. It's a bit of a dwarven architecture face on that. I like this. What cool colour would that go in? Maybe oh, burgundy's not very reddish at all. Let's try proper red. See, this one's dyeing quite nicely. Again, the hat isn't dyeing too well, but that's not a bad robe. I quite like that. And the shoulder pads on this one aren't too sticking out, which isn't bad. Quite like that one. Okay, so that's the light ones. Let's move over to the heavy guy. Where is he? He's down here somewhere.
What do you need?
I need the armour sets. Captain. Greater Captain. What? I think that might have gotten a little bit buggy there. Yes. Can we get a better looking... No, I think there's a bit of a texture bug going on there, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I'll have to come back to that in a later video. But certainly looks like some plate mail going on there. Champion. Ooh, bit more medieval there. That's certainly interesting. How does this dye? What would be a good champion colour? We're kind of already on a red. I don't know, let's go navy. So it's pretty much just dyeing the armour pieces. The leather and the mail is staying the same colour, and the boots just the shin pads that's dyeing. But nothing spectacular, but maybe a bit more realistic looking armour. But I'm not too sure about the chainmail around the face. I mean, it's it's looking like my Hobbit's got a double chin. I'm not too keen on that hat either. It's Guardians then. Whoa! this is interesting. It's another kind of futuristic one, but I like them boots. Those boots are cool. But it looks like the dye is going to be applied to the scale armour. I mean, those shoulder pads are sticking way out, but I'm sure that'll be fixed before it goes live. Guardian, what shall we go for? Let's go Crimson. I wish that person would stop buffing in the background. There's no need for it. So yeah, the armour bits aren't dying too much, it's just the scales. But yeah, once that's sized appropriately, that could be quite interesting. But I don't know why it's short sleeved and you've got your elbows out. That seems a bit wrong for a heavy armour class. It certainly looks interesting, but let's have a look at the set bonuses on the bits and pieces. Again, bear in mind these are probably subject to change, and in many cases they're probably not even, not complete at all. So what have we got on the Guardian sets? Bearing in mind my Guardian is my least played class out of all of them, so I'm not too familiar with those, but Shadow Fighter, 2-piece is 60 seconds off of Guardian's pledge cooldown. 4 equipped is Catch a Breath, has a chance to proc a block chance buff. On every Catch a Breath skill, if in combat, 30% chance to apply to the caster, plus 5% block chance, duration 20 seconds. Cooldown 2 minutes. Catch a Breath has a chance to trigger a block chance buff. You cannot gain this effect more than once every 2 minutes. So it's repeating itself a bit there. Erebor Defender. 2-piece is Improved Shield Blow, applies a threat over time effect. 4-piece is Catch... hang on, isn't that the same? Oh, it's the same proc, but it applies a different buff. Catch a Breath has a chance to proc a block chance buff on every challenge skill. Okay, that's meant to be every challenge has a chance to proc, I think. On every challenge skill, if in combat, 30% chance to apply to the target, plus 15% attack duration, minus 10% melee damage, 10-second duration. And 1 minute 30-second cooldown. Challenge has a chance to trigger a melee damage and attack duration debuff on the target. You cannot gain this effect more than every 90 seconds. So again, it's just repeating itself. And Erebor Blade seems to be bugged, but 2-piece. Improved Sting has a chance to apply a physical mastery buff, but it doesn't say how much. And the 4-piece is Guardian's pledge duration increased by 0%. So I guess that one needs a bit of work going on it. But, I'm not entirely sure how they're doing the normal armours. Pardon me. Because they don't seem to have the set bonuses in those. I'm not sure if they're going to be the same set bonuses as the upgraded tier of armour.
What can I do
and it's just the stats that will change, or whether the set bonuses will be slightly different, a bit like they did with the original Ostanov sets. But, so let's have a look at the champ ones next. Got Storm, Berserker and Champion. So we're linking the tooltips for the basic sets, you idiot. We want greater. We can actually see the set bonuses then. Okay, so the Storm Armour set. 2 equip is Battle Acuity, increases the crit rating of Engage the Tide skills. 4 equipped is Blade skills have a chance to make your next Blade Storm cost no further. If in combat, if the skill results in a critical hit, Devastate, or Devastate I assume that's meant to be, hits I assume that's meant to read if the skill results in a critical hit or a devastating hit. 15% to apply to the caster. Your next Blade Storm will cost no further. Duration 12 seconds. You can only have that once every 30 seconds. Erebor Berserker. 2 equipped is Wild Attack causes a bleed on a crit. 4 equipped is Strike skills have a chance to make your next Remorseless Strike cost no further. If in combat, if the skill results in a crit or a devastate, 15% chance to apply to the caster. Your next Remorseless Strike will cost no further. Duration 12 seconds, 30-second cooldown before you can get that one again. And the Martial Champion set is 2-piece. Sudden Defense grants a critical defense rating buff for 10 seconds, but it doesn't say how much. The 4-piece is on a parry, increases the threat of all skills for a short duration. On every skill targeted at you if in combat, if the skill results in a parry or a partial parry, applies to the target, increases the threat of all skills by 30% for 8 seconds. It doesn't say if there is a cooldown for that effect, but I'd imagine there would be, otherwise that'd be pretty strong. Moving back to the Captain Armour then. No, not the shoulder pads, you pillock. Okay, so Captain's Leader set. The 2-piece is critical hits with pressing attack and devastating blow will restore power, presumably to yourself rather than fellowship wide. The 4-piece is Shadow's Lament has a chance to reset Oathbreaker's Shame. That's interesting. On every Shadow's Lament skill, if in combat, 30% chance to apply to the caster. Shadow's Lament resets Oathbreaker's Shame. 90-second cooldown on getting that back. Erebor Healer set. The 2-piece is minus 10% healing skills power cost. It's a bit uninspired, that one. No pun intended. 4-piece is Words of Courage has a chance to proc a critical chance buff for healing skills. On every Words of Courage skill, if in combat, 5% chance to apply to the caster, 5% healing skills crit chance for 12 seconds. Cooldown 1 minute on that effect. And Erebor Charge set. The 2-piece is Defensive Strike has a chance to proc a tactical mitigation buff. On every Defensive Strike skill, if in combat, 5% chance to increase tactical mitigation by 611 points. And that's a duration 12 seconds with a 1 minute cooldown. And the 4-piece is Pressing Attack generates additional threat. So let's move back over to the light guy and have a look at the light buffs. You may help me by shutting up and letting me get on with this. Right, Lawmaster then. Okay, so Animal Friend Armour. The 2-piece is Waterlaw's incoming healing buff is increased by 3% on top of whatever it is normally. Is it 5%? 4-piece is Catch Your Breath has a chance to proc a block chance buff. What? That's, yeah. I don't think they checked that typo. That's a Guardian skill, but from what I can gather from the rest of the tooltip, it should be Beacon of Hope has a chance to get a heal over time effect. On every Beacon of Hope, if in combat, 30% chance to apply to the caster, heals, this is presumably a bug, but heals 5 to 7 morale initially and 5 to 7 morale every 4 seconds for 32 seconds. I'm guessing that's meant to scale, but just it's a hot every 4 seconds for 32 seconds basically. Magnitude currently unknown, but 30% chance to apply that. There is a 1 minute 30-second cooldown on that effect. The Fury Armour set. The 2-piece is Burning Embers, reduces the active cooldown of Ents Go to War by 0 seconds. So again, they haven't quite decided on that one, but Ents cooldown. And 4 equipped is Light of the Rising Dawn, reduces the active cooldown of Lightning Storm by 12 seconds. So Loremasters could be quite happy with this armour set, because it's going to use their big splat attacks, and I mean you can use those more often. And the Ancient set then, but they've changed the order of the names on those tooltips. The 2-piece is +2 blinding flash duration, and the 4-piece is Sign of Power seal ends, also applies a crit defense buff to the target. Sorry, Buffy and CC1 on that one. What we've got next? Minstrel. So the Watcher set is 2 bonus, minus 10% healing skills. What? Okay, plus minus 10%, but assume it's meant to be plus 10%. Plus 10% healing skills crit chance. And the 4 equipped is chance for Bolster Courage to apply an area effect heal over time. Now it'd be interesting to see how that works out, but there's no details on that sadly. The Song Protector, the 2-piece is +5% Inspire Fellows healing, and the 4-piece is chance for Call to Greatness to reapply its effects after it expires. There's no oh dear, it's an angry dwarf. There's no details on what that chance is, but that could be interesting. And lastly, the Schooled Armour set, the 2-piece is ridiculous apparently, plus 500% Call of Orome damage. Yeah. I'm not sure if that's meant to be plus 50%, but 500% seems a bit excessive. The 4-piece is Cry of the Valor, has a chance to automatically unlock your coda. So moving on to the last armour bonuses for the Runekeeper. The Thundercaller armour, the 2-piece is a percentage chance to apply thunderous words and harsh debate. On what, I don't know, and what percent chance, I don't know. It just says 0% at the moment, so can't enlighten you too much on that one, I'm afraid. The 4-piece is Lightning skills have a chance to make your next Essence of Storm auto crit. On every lightning skill, if in combat, if the skill results in a critical hit or devastating hit, a 15% chance to apply to the caster, plus 100% critical strike chance from your next Essence of Storm. Duration 12 seconds. It doesn't say there's a cooldown on this effect, but I imagine it's probably going to have one. The Erebor Cleanser set, 2 equipped bonus is confusing. It says plus 0.1 pulses to Fairy Ridicule and Writ of Fire, but I assume that's meant to be a whole number and not a decimal point. 4 bonus is fire skills have a chance to refresh your Writ of Fire on the target. On every fire skill, if in combat, if the skill results in a crit or a devastate, 15% chance to apply to the caster. Fire skills have a chance to refresh the duration of Writ of Fire effect. Again, there's no cooldown listed, but I assume there will be one. Also, these tooltips should hopefully be a bit more readable once they go live, instead of saying the same thing 3 times and then contradicting once as well. Peacecaller armour then. 2-piece bonus is plus 25% critical chance of Writ of Healing, and the 4 bonus is healing crits have a chance to reduce the cooldown of Glorious Foreshadowing. On every healing skill, if in combat, If the skill results in a critical hit or devastating hit, there is a 60% chance to apply to the caster minus 10 seconds glorious and wondrous foreshadowing cooldown. Yeah, that could be quite an interesting one. And lastly then, back to the medium one.
How may I help you?
And the burglar sets. So the knife set, the 2 bonus is plus 25% offhand damage, and the 4 piece is on a crit, applies a temporary crit rating buff to your fellowship. Doesn't say the amount though. Mischief Maker, riddle affects 2 targets, so that one's cropped up again, but it's on a 2 piece bonus, so you could mix and match that for interesting effect. But yeah, could be good. The 4 piece bonus is on hit, chance to reduce the active cooldown of all trick removals by 5 seconds. The Gambler set, the 2 piece is Clever at all, performs a damaging and restoring effect. And the 4 piece is on a hit, chance to refresh the duration of an active damaging or debuffing gambit. So the burglar ones are fairly simple on the tooltips. Nice and easy. Hunter ones now. Bowmaster armor set, the 2 piece is Burn Hot, increases the crit rating. I assume that's meant to read Burn Hot has an increased crit rating, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. The 4 piece on the Bowmaster is Focus Bow attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Heartseeker and make it an instant cast. Again, no chance information or cooldown or whatever, but there should be one for that. Erebor Trapper, the focus cost of Rain of Thorns reduced to 0. That's interesting. The 4 piece is on hit, chance to apply a critical defense debuff to the target for 20 seconds. The Erebor Huntsman, 2 piece Fleetness reduces the focus cost of Penetrating Shot and Blood Arrow by 1. And 4 piece is Focus Bow attacks have a chance to make your next induction bow attack a instant cast. And lastly then, onto the Warden. And see if they've got any good bonuses that aren't DPS related for once. Okay, so Erebor Spear, the 2 piece is Recklessness, Block, Parry, Evade penalty is removed. It's a bit so-so. 4 piece is Adroit Maneuver and Warden's Triumph have a chance to trigger the Dark Before Dawn's Power Restore. Interesting. You cannot gain this effect more than once every something seconds, 80 seconds. Hitbold Shield, not Hitbold, Shield, Erebor Shield, you nub. 2 piece is Javelin skills generate additional threat, so maybe give some extra purpose to the Jav skills for threat gen. 4 piece is Conviction has a chance to heal the Warden for every Fellowship member nearby. Okay, so is that a straight up heal or is that an additional hot? Who knows? Be interesting to see how that one works out, because that could be quite nice. Erebor Fist, the 2 piece is plus 5% range damage, and the 4 piece is Precise Blow, Piercing Strike and Spear of Virtue. Apply their range damage bonuses to the Warden. I'm not currently sure how they work normally, but yeah, who knows, maybe that's a good one. But let's look at all those cosmetic bits and how the armour's bartered. I think before we go, just have a look at the costs of these, because we haven't discussed those. But assuming it doesn't change between now and live, which it may do, it seems 2 pieces have the same costs, but so these all scale upwards. The helm and the gloves are 31 seals, 673 medallions. Bearing in mind there's going to be a change where every seal you have in game at the launch of update 10 will be converted into 20 medallions. So unless Turbine changes their mind on that, you can have no seals at the start of update 10, because they will each be converted to 20 meds, so bear that in mind. 31 seals, 673 meds, 2,664 marks. The shoulders and the legs cost 61 seals, 740 medallions, 3,108 marks, and the jacket and the boots cost 92 seals, 807 medallions, and 3,552 marks. And I assume it's the same for each class. So seal cost isn't too bad, but meds and marks are going to be quite expensive. Also, don't forget, as we discussed at the start of the video, there's 2 bits of armour tied to deeds from each of the 3 new raids. But you only have to complete those once on tier 1 to get that requirement out of the way, so that's not too big an issue. But bear in mind, all stats and possibly even the cosmetics may change before all this goes live, so make sure you give Turbine your feedback if you don't like it. But I hope you enjoyed this video, hope you found it informative, and might do a few more of these for update 10 beta before it goes live. We just have to see what there is to look at. And yeah, please like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed, and see you later.